Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to Bold Badass Business Owners, where we bring you the no bullshit, wildest, most interesting badassery all over the world, you all. And today I am thrilled to have here in the studio Bea Palya, who is an internationally renowned artist. She's a singer and a voice trainer. She has sung, you all. Bea has sung at Carnegie Hall. She has sung at the London Opera House. She has sung at the biggest stages all over the world. And she's also been in a number of movies. So welcome, incredible Bea Palya.
Hello, my lovely Barnsley and my listeners, and it's so nice to hear you talking about my work. It's always new. Like, oh my God, did I really do that? Like, I know I do because it's a line in my biography. I actually sang in Carnegie Hall and Covent Garden and so on and so on. But like, life is so intense, and I do so many things. So thank you so much for wording this right at the beginning, and so I can own it now and even maybe sing here.
Own it. Yes. And that's so perfect because today, you all, we're talking about owning and
Mm.
unleashing your voice, which is essential in business because if you don't own your voice, nobody's going to care. They're not going to give a shit.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
serious. Like your voice is the embodiment of your soul.
yeah.
And your voice transmits the energy you have. And so today, with Bea, we're going to talk about how to unleash your voice so that you can increase your business incrementally,
Mm.
so that you have people attracted to you, listening to what you say. And
Yeah.
so I'm really excited about this topic. So, Bea, let me ask you, I never have set questions I ask, ever, ever.
Go ahead. I'm listening to you. Yeah.
Never, man, because this is
Grr.
all about what the spirit says and kind of where the flow is. So I'm wondering, what moment in your life did you realize, and it might even be recent, there's another level for me in owning my incredible musical skills and voice?
Oh my God. So, in terms of music and singing and voice, it was pretty early. So, I was a child. I was maybe 6 or 7 when
Mm.
I started like really see this as a thing. Like singing is like something I can do. And just that maybe I didn't mention that, but I'm Hungarian and half Gypsy. So I was always in the edge. So I grew up on the edge of the village. My mother was very marginalized. So maybe something about the Roma or Gypsy, as I say, Gypsy heritage, because it's still politically correct because I am Gypsy, so I can call
Yeah.
myself as a Gypsy. But I know in the States it's more like Roma or Romani people. It's all okay with me, but so many times these people's heritage is music itself. So this is somehow the way they sing themselves into the society. So I got that through my grandfather, who was a gypsy music player, a bass player, and a singer. So when I was 7 and I went to my first folk song competition, my grandfather was listening to me. So I was watching him doing this, and like it was like a picture of Dolly. His ear become to cool down and becoming even bigger and bigger. And when I finished, he said, "Okay, my little girl, you're gonna sing in television." And so that was the family legend. So he heard that this little girl has something to do in music. So I probably inherited his voice and the voice of my other grandfather. So if you want, on my generational line, there was an accumulation of the love of the music or the expression through music. So in terms of singing and expressing myself through songs, it came early. Actually, it was a kind of a saving thing for me because my childhood wasn't like that happy. So when I was singing, I was happy. So I felt like escaping from reality, and I could
Mm.
fly to the more volatile world and, more untouchable and unsayable things, queendom.
Mm.
And so when I was there, I felt safe. I felt alive. I felt resonating together with the world. And so it was pretty early on. But for the first, let's say, 2.5 or 3 decades, it was more about singing and then songwriting. But lately, and this is another milestone, 3 decades later, I realized that it's not just performing, it's also, and not just writing songs, although this is already a healing modality, but also to teach others how to use their voice and how to write their soul song. And you put it so beautifully in your introduction that yes, indeed, your voice is the expression of your soul. And this is the first impression people hear. It's almost like an image, it's almost like a picture, like what kind
Mhm.
of voice this person has. And maybe you've heard all about this inquiry that people usually have 2 seconds to decide if they trust you or if they don't. And voice and body language
Mhm.
plays a big part of it. So yes, and as a singer with 40 years of experience in the Kingdom of Voice, I realized that when I want to teach to others what to do with their voice, well, I have all these 40 years of wisdom in terms of voice. So
Yes.
yeah, so I also liked very much that you pointed out what to do. So in my course, I'm a doer and I make people do things because it's nice to speak about, how to find their voice and doing theory. It's nice, but I can be for many a bombastic, challenging teacher, but hell yeah, we do things and it works.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with bombastic. I mean, listen, this is bold, badass business owners. And here's the thing, if you don't own your voice, you're going to have somebody else's voice. You're going to be just generic. And who
Yeah.
wants to be generic? If you're
Mm,
generic in business, people don't know who they would send to you. They don't care. It's like,
mm,
and we've all sat in those networking meetings when somebody gets on and they say, "Hi, my name is
mm,
John Smith, and I'm a financial advisor with such and such company and da da da." And everybody, like my by that time my head is down on the table, right?
yeah,
Or I've done like
yeah,
horses do and I've fallen asleep standing
yeah,
up. Seriously,
yeah,
our voice and the inflections that we give, it
yeah,
has a frequency and it has an
yeah,
energy. And the
yeah,
voice can heal and it can
yeah,
also harm, right? The
yeah.
frequency we use can be harmful too.
Oh my God, so many topics you touch here. So first, when there is the evergreen John Smith with monotone voice who like makes us fall asleep. And I don't want to hurt anyone, but I see this on and on that how much we are not conscious about the use of our voice. And so I see this on and on that many times I can be tired. I tend to teach in the evening, European evening, because I also work overseas. So many times it's the evening and I am a single mom of 2 little girls. So many times I need to take care of my openness, which I am doing right now. So thanks for our lipsticks. Hopefully it's very visible. And you see, you are doing this beautiful, wonderful smile. And it's
Yeah.
not just, we all have these pictures of even my childhood of Whitney Houston, a few stolen moments, and the men's. We all see the, upper sixth up left up there, or one Luther Vandross. We all see this. So it's not just singers that open the lips up.
Mhm.
Also when you speak, and I am doing that as I'm speaking, that when I'm very tired, the very first thing I do on purpose, it's I double or even triple the normal opening I would do normally if I would speak to you here in my
Mhm.
room, although it's a little bit like you are in my room. But still, I make my, especially my upper lips, dancing. So I even called it the first modality of my Unleashing Your Authentic Feminine Voice course, the dancing lips session. And when I created that, my coach was like, ha 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 ha, oh, dancing lips session, because just that, probably you figured out I'm not a native English speaker, so I'm free to use your beautiful language in a free way.
Yeah.
I don't know if an English speaker would say dancing lip session, but my coach, who I love and trust, she was laughing and she said it works. So I put dancing lips session, and then my students and clients asking, what the heck is dancing lips?
The
Okay,
dancing lip session.
I
Because
can.
you've
Oh yeah.
created a signature system,
Oh
Bea.
my
That's
god.
what you've done. And, we don't want anybody else to say dancing lip session because that's your dancing lip session.
Yeah, and
Um,
I
we don't want
didn't.
anybody else to do it.
Sorry, and I didn't know I created that, but I did,
Mhm.
because what I did is that many times with my singing wisdom or experience, I could inject the life or the speaking life, let's say the speaking mode of all these beautiful women I am working with, like women leaders and entrepreneurs and other professionals, many times coaches, healers, therapists, because you know when you make them doing a very physical exercise, they just do it, and then the aha moments, like, oh my god, this works. So coming back to the dancing lips, which is part of my signature system, I do a funny exercise which called the fence of your teeth, because I love Homer, and he said, what is the word that broke through your fence of your teeth? Atreides, from the Greek old mythology. So I created this exercise, the fence of your teeth. And in this exercise, my dear Marsley, your fence of your teeth is closed. So what you do is you close your teeth and you make your lips really dancing, because in order to stay understandable with closed teeth, you really make those lips
You
dancing.
have to make them dance, don't you?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
if you don't make them dance, you will not have anything happen because your teeth are well, that's hard.
yeah. I love it. I
That
love
is
it.
hard. So I
See?
love that. You're giving people, and I know you get into all the how of it in the program, and I really would encourage you all to investigate Bea's program, because your voice is, again, if you are not in a state of embodiment, you're going to sound like this talking head. All right. So here's the talking head. Okay. Well, I'm really happy you're here for the Bold Badass Business Owners. And today we have a great guest who's just going, yeah. It makes me want to scream. But
Yeah,
when you inhabit your body and being
yeah,
someone who works with energy, with Reiki energy, in addition to
yeah,
the business acumen, I like to drop my energy down into my lower torso, into my
yeah.
into my private
Mhm.
area, essentially, and hold the
To your
energy
vagina.
there.
Yeah,
And then guess what happens to my voice? It
yeah,
becomes so much more powerful
yeah.
from that place. And people
Beautiful.
listen.
I love that. I love what you are saying here. And there is a quote I actually use in my course and in my signature system to refer to beautiful writers and feminist philosopher Elan Sixou. She was French, but I think
Yes.
it goes to all people, not just women. But she says women will reconquer the body that was confiscated from them, which was the very place of conflicts and inhibitions. When a woman, and I say it for any person, reconquer their body, then she'll reconquer their speech, their breath, their truth. And as she's a writer, she says, write yourself. But I am a speaker and a singer, so I would say, speak yourself, sing yourself. And you were politely naming your gods. I would clearly say, sing and speak from your vagina, which is like
Mhm.
maybe strange to hear, but it's many times this is the place of life seeds, or literally the core
Think
of life.
about it. Yes.
and
It's
if
the
you
womb.
and if you make those little seeds and all the energy which is there alive and inject it to the voice, well, it's gonna work. But how we can do that, and I know it's part of my signature system, I also created another exercise called the stovepipe. When the stovepipe from your perineum to the top of your head, it's a free flow of energy, voice, and many times we sing into this stovepipe which is running in the inside of our bodies. And I see this on and on. I have a beautiful life because I can witness transformation. My beautiful
Mhm.
women just got to their guts and then to their vaginas, and then they bring up voice from there. And not just they become alive, but oh my God, you cannot not hear them, you cannot not listen to them. Furthermore, they are just beautiful also to look at. But also, if you close your eyes and you just listen what's going on, if you imagine the stovepipe and your vagina is connected to your guts, to your heart, and finally to your throat,
Mm-hmm.
it's finally you are there. And people feel if you are speaking from the body or if you don't. And the second thing that came to my mind while I was listening to you is that many people in business also, they have their own reason to not to open the open lips. And interestingly enough, I didn't have any sales today. Somehow my message doesn't go through. Why the
Yeah.
heck? But also, if you think, and this is maybe, I'm saying that because I want to give some beautifully loving empathy to the people who are listening to us and maybe have that problem that they cannot open the voice, because it's a thing. I see this on and on. And also I want to validate that you have your own reason not to. And in my work, we touch that layer as well. So
Yes.
I have a beautiful, I would not say mentor, but it's more like a friend, Dr. Gábor Máté, who is also happened to be Hungarian, and he was encouraging me in the last decade, Belle, when do you go to the world and teach your program around the voice? And so many times psychologists or coaches, healers get that I am also working in not just on the level of physical voice, although it's a very important part of my teachings and actually doings,
Yes.
but also the layer, one layer under, in the soul, in the psyche.
Mm-hmm.
Because if someone speak like that, she has its own reason. Probably there were inhibitions early on. And there's another core exercise which was transformational for many of my clients, and I name it auditive soul hunting, which is actually, the name soul hunting could be familiar for the ones who are in shamanism, in contemporary
Yes.
shamanism. It's kind of the old psychology, like you hunt back
Yes.
your lost, or I don't know.
You go retrieve the lost parts of your soul. You go
Exactly.
shamanic journeying for that,
Oh
you
my God.
know, so that you can bring back those parts of that have been stripped away by society. And especially,
Yeah.
in terms of women, oh, you can't say that. One of the reasons I curse on the show, and sometimes I curse more than other times, and sometimes I keep it fairly clean, but sometimes I'm like, fuck this. Are you kidding me? And why do I do that? Because there's a freedom in
Mm.
not being the good girl, that it's
Mm.
only acceptable to speak in a certain
Mm.
prim and proper way so
Ah.
that you can appreciate that I am feminine. No, 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 no,
Mm.
no. Feminine is powerful. The part
Yeah.
of the archetype of the feminine is the woman warrior,
Yeah.
right?
Beautiful. And oh my God, my heart goes like, oh my God, Barnsley, you have just shared something very significant about your own journey, which is, I think, resonating for many women, because you
Mhm.
said this little broken girl is just, you need to behave. But
Be a good girl.
yeah. And in soul hunting, as you described so well, we hunt back those parts in the dark. But what I realized as a voice teacher, and honestly, I created this exercise last year, and oh my God, the transformation that happened in that class, it was mind blowing. And so I realized that we can do that with voice. So in
Yes.
this practice, we are becoming, not just imitating, but becoming first cave women or cave people, like roaring and telling the
Yes.
story of a successful hunt without meaningful words, just this raw powerful voice we have. In the second one, we become babies, and then comes back the upper lip, which is, all of us has started our journeys here as babies. And when a baby wants to have the milk and mom is tits, she
Mhm.
doesn't hold back. She does. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yeah.
here, so we all have that, but you bring people back there, it requires a lot of very subtle and very concrete and very well designed work to get there. Then in the third part, we become the voice of a sexually freed woman or person.
Mm.
And in the last one, we become wolves. And the reason I chosen the wolves as an archetype because I love this book from Clarissa Pinkolas. The
Women who run with the wolves. I know it. In
of
fact,
course you do.
when I started my Make It Happen Mastermind, I have to tell you this, Bea. At the beginning, it was just a 1 month program. Now it's 12
Mm,
months because
yes.
to really get the big-hearted women I work with to six figures and
Mm,
multiple six figures and beyond,
beautiful.
that's a year-long journey, and many of them re-up into the second year.
Mm,
But when it was a 1 month, what I would do is I would choose a book, and that was one of the
mm,
first ones that I chose. So we
mm,
had our wolf pack. Yes, there's something primeval about the voice. Think
mm,
about it. The voice gets shaped into language. But when someone is grieving or someone is going
mm,
through hell, what
mm,
do? We sob or we
mm,
scream or we
mm,
wail.
mm.
And that has no language that
Mm,
is formed. It's not
of course.
Latinate. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah. Yeah.
Germanic. It's just guttural, primeval sound,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know?
yeah. Sound can double your pleasure and make your pain sustainable, or even cut it into half, or make your anger you know, processed. So voice can do so many things. Sound can do so many things. And I'm so thankful that you bring this up because in my course also I speak a lot about the one rootedness of speaking and singing because the first question I got from people is this a course where we sing better? Well, as a side effect, yes. And all is a musical journey because I'm a singer songwriter at first, but not just because sound is one. You have one sound, and now am I speaking or am I singing? So I play a lot with this reciting things where you are in between the singing or speaking. So what I'm doing here is that I wrote a little poem: high and low, fast and slow, soft and loud, break and sound, steely or velvety, melody or monotony. So people just memorize this little poem by saying that you can play with all these elements of the voice and don't even know where you are at. Like, are you singing or you still speaking? I don't know anymore. But it's the same thing because sound has one root. So before, of course, then there are differentiations, and I can talk on under 2 hours about it. But the reason is that I want people to know that sound is your birthright, and as a
Hmm.
side effect, you sing better. Cool. You can go to Carnegie Hall. I work sometimes with professional singers and songwriters, but
Yes.
my main thing is not that because I find it interesting and beautiful and art and everything. But what I find is and it's based on the experience with my clients and students. What I kept hearing is that I don't have a voice. I'm tone deaf. Well, it's not true. You have a unless you don't
Mm.
have any organ, you know, something
Yes. No,
that is
you've
not
been told
functioning.
you don't have a voice. You've been
Of
told by
course.
some stupid
Yeah.
fuck that you don't have a voice, right? That you can't sing or you can't whatever. You've been told that by some doddering old
Yeah.
fool who was probably a school teacher.
It
And
can be
you've
so
been
many
told
things.
that shit,
Yeah.
right? You know what? Okay, I have to tell you something, Bea. This is very fun.
Tell me, tell
All
me.
right, it's a little story. So my daughter was in chorus, and she really is a good singer.
Mm.
I used to sing in a rhythm and blues band. I don't know if you knew that, but anyway, yeah, yeah. When I was in
I want
graduate
I want to
school,
hear
yeah.
that. Oh my
Oh
God.
yeah, I've got it. I've
Please
got
sing it.
well, most of it is on little tapes, because that was a while
I
ago. So
love
I
it.
don't know how I can put that. I don't know. There must be a way to put it on there, but I really enjoyed it. I actually wrote some fun songs. I have a song that
Mm.
I wrote that was called Angry Woman Blues. And it was
Beautiful.
so, yeah.
How it
Yesterday I
goes.
saw him. He was walking down the street. Yesterday I saw him, baby. He was walking down the street. I said to myself, that's the last man I want to meet. Cause you done hurt me, baby. You done me wrong. It went on and on. Anyway, and it had literary allusions in
Beautiful.
it.
Thank
So
you.
much fun. And I was writing songs, and that was this was just one of those things that happened at a party. I got up and started singing, and they
Mhm.
said, "Would you join our band?" and blah blah blah. But my daughter, the whole point is my daughter had did her first choral concert, and she doesn't like
Mm.
to perform in front of people.
Mm.
She's a one-on-one person. She's quieter and a
Mm.
one-on-one person. But I said, "Well, I'm getting you the robe, the dress and everything, and I can't wait to come." Well, what was so interesting is most of the kids had never performed before. And
Mm.
truthfully, Bea, some of them were really off key. They
Mm.
were really off key, like really off key, but
Mm.
they sang with commitment. They sang
Mm.
with power. They just
Nice.
sang. And I
Nice.
loved that. I sat there and I thought, this is how it should be, that we
Yeah.
sing without
Mm.
worrying if it sounds good, if it doesn't sound good. We just sing. We sing our song. And in fact, my first grade teacher used to sing this Carpenter song
Mm.
that went sing, sing a song, make sing out loud, sing
Mm.
out strong. And it went on and on, but the
Beautiful.
whole thing was sing your song.
Mm.
Don't worry that it's not good enough for anyone else to hear. Just
Sing, my
sing a
sister,
song.
sing. Of course, let your voice be heard. What won't kill you will make you strong. So sing, my sister, sing. Sing, my sister, sing. Let your voice be heard. What won't kill you will make you strong. So sing, my sister, sing. Yeah, of course,
Beautiful. I
beautiful.
love
It's
that.
Annie Lennox song, yeah, and it's the same message that that your Carpenter song. And Barnsley, what you are sharing is again so meaningful, and I didn't know all that about you, so yeah, I'm so happy we happened to chat.
See, this is the fun about coming
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
Bold Badass
yeah,
Business Owner is you find out new stuff about I
yeah,
find out all this stuff about you, and
yeah,
really this is a conversation,
yeah.
it's an interview and it's a conversation that we
I
want
love it.
you all watching. We want you to be we want you to feel I just felt the energy on what you shared, Bea. My body was like, woo, tuning forward. We want you to feel this energy, you all, and we want you to know that this energy is useful to your
Mm,
business,
mm,
because when someone
mm,
listens to you and
mm.
you are speaking from your vagina, as you say, Babe, I
Yeah,
just had to say that, when you're speaking from your vagina, from your womb space,
yeah,
it's so different from this which is all up here.
yeah.
And it's like this empty, I don't know, this empty container.
Yeah, yeah. Unless I mean, there are two things, and it's so connected to what you said, to both of the things you have just shared. Yes, so it's very determined for your business how you show up, how you sound up. I don't know, it's English. How you
Yeah.
sound
No,
up.
I like that. How
Uh,
you sound up. You need to
how-
that's a blog. That's a blog right there, Bea. That's a new thing. How you sound up.
yeah, because you
Tend
have
to up
how you
level
show
your
up. Yeah,
voice.
yeah. How you show up, how you speak up, how you
How you
sound
sound
up.
up.
How you sound up, because this is really you, your
Mhm.
essence
Yep.
translated into resonance, your essence translated into resonance. Wow, it's
Mm.
rhyming even. What are you making of me? So but there are two things I want to share. First is, it's too short but important. So you are saying about those kids that they were happy and they were out of key, but they
They
don't
didn't
care.
care. They were like,
And I have my gypsy roots, and my colleagues in my music band are gypsies, especially the bass player, because maybe it's a heritage of my grandfather. But my Roma bass player called George Orban, and there's an exercise called George Orbanism or something like that, because it means that usually that guy, this beautiful, wonderful musician, a friend of mine, usually doesn't know by title what is the song that we are about to play. But in the moment he hears the first chord of the cymbalum player, his buddy, he plays this first note like it's like his life in it,
depends
and
on it. Yeah.
from the back of the stage, I feel like a flood of ocean energy, like
Yeah.
and don't forget, he still doesn't know the song. He just know the first chord and the second, and of course after But like when people, learning a song and they are all in the mind, what's the lyrics and what is the first line and the second line, I said, okay, now you connect to your inner George Orban, and you don't know the song, but you do it. And it's something
Mhm.
very not easy. And in terms of voice, many times in business you take a risk, right? You go
Yes.
to a discovery call with an unknown stranger, so you don't know the song, but you do it. So you do, and many times it's about listening also. But let's say you are presenting something, or you are giving a speech, a keynote speech. It's, you don't know your listeners, you might be judged. Very, very likely you will be judged, because people, that's what do,
Yeah.
they are all judging. And you just keep singing anyway, keep telling your truth anyway. And this is very important, that you don't know what is happening. Maybe you know your phrases, but you still don't know the whole setup. But you connect to your inner Orban, George Orban, your inner gypsy, and just you do it with very high
Go for
energy,
it.
and you
Yes.
put it in a voice. And the second thing I wanted to share, it's also connected to cursing and what you shared earlier, is that in the moment you work with your voice, and if you come, let's say you come to my course, and we, like, on and on, week by week, we do all this strange stuff with our inner voice, and all this inside vocal apparatus, and then it becomes default that you open your
Mhm.
lips that much, or you are conscious about this
Yep.
huge space here that you don't tend to
Yeah.
use. But I'm saying there's a Carnegie Hall space here, in this
Yeah.
in the space where we used to put an imaginary apple with my clients, so it works. And so after
Yeah.
it becomes a
Hmm.
default, you become the leader of your voice. So you decide what kind of voice you want to use. And I am doing it, of course, you hear it, because you were
Mhm.
talking about this little tiny little good girly, well behaving girl, unless
Mhm.
maybe this is the very thing you want. So the thing here is, like, you become like a painter, and okay, let's put some rouge here, let's put some green here, so let's put some velvety here, let's put some irony, harsh voice here, or some little vulnerability here. So you can do that if you're conscious about it. What are you doing with your voice? And in terms of cursing,
Mhm.
I'm a gypsy. And so the more archaic you are in the culture, more the spoken word and the voice works. It
Mhm.
means that gypsy says what you are saying and speaking, it becomes the truth. In other words, you create with words, you create something with your sound. So I have,
Mhm.
as I'm a gypsy, I can tell this story. I was in Transylvania, and there was a gypsy woman, an old gypsy woman came to me and asking for money, and I was in a rush. Usually I gave a lot, but in that moment we were
Mhm.
in my band, I was under stress, and I said, I don't even have my purse with me. So I was kind first, and then a second time kind, and then she came, and I knew about gypsies, and because I want that they won't go away. So
Yeah.
what I did, what's come, what's coming. So not my hardest one, but I put a curse, like, if you don't go, wah, 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 wah. And she was like, "Ooh," she was split, she ran
She's
away.
like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, because, and I didn't want, then I read something similar in the something in Tibet with a
Mhm.
researcher woman. So curse can work very powerfully. So the reason I don't do that is because, and you are very right to do that, because it's freeing energy, and it's good. Also, you can later on, you can choose your color, you can choose the even, with an "I love you," you can say, "I love you, yeah, yeah, I love," or "I
Yeah.
love you," or
Your tone is going to tell it all. The energy behind it is going to create the meaning, not just the words itself. And
yeah.
that's where, but language is also a form of social scripting. All right.
Mhm.
And just the fact that, for example, now we're opening up to different pronouns, that tells you, it used to just be she and he, right? And then it was S apostrophe HE. So it could be she or he. It used to be that people said he, and it was supposed to include us, but that doesn't include me. He does not include me. And so our language can be very, very constricted, and that's what I meant by the primeval energy.
Yeah.
But I think it's also what Tony Robbins, when he curses, for instance, it's this it's this forcing us out of comfort zone with
Mm.
language.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah.
the nicey nice, like,
Yeah.
oh, that's great. It forces us to confront our our limitations that we have imposed upon ourselves. It forces us to confront the box, the
Yeah.
comfort zone that we're
Yeah.
in. And it's a way to shock and
Yeah.
disrupt the patterns that we're in. So, and that's coming from me. That's coming very much from my PhD, which, you know, is in African American literature and women's studies. And, you know, being a
I
writer,
want to
being
read
a
that.
poet, yeah, I have most of the stuff is published. Before I left academia 23 years ago, I published the shit, Bea, because I was like, I didn't
Beautiful.
do all this work for nothing. And when I walked
Mm.
into my freaking oral exam, my dissertation, final defense, right? Okay, you know, here's a story for you. It was one woman, my incredible dissertation director, and four guys. Is that right? Four guys, three or
Mm.
four guys. And they were all pissed off, Bea, because she made more than they did. Right? She had
Mm.
just been hired back to UNC
Wow.
Chapel Hill, right? I'm not going
Mm.
to say a name, but she's very well known and very esteemed, right?
Beautiful.
And they were pissed off. So they gave me the hardest time. And so, you know
Mm.
what I did, Bea? They were just ass wipes. They really were. But you know what I did? I
Yeah.
was like, well, you know, what I'm happy about as a graduate student that is that this is being published in the African American Review out of Harvard University. And this is in a book, and this is there, and that. And I'm so glad I've been able to do all that while I'm a graduate student.
Beautiful.
They
Oh my
couldn't
God.
fail me, Bea. They
Yeah.
couldn't fail me,
Yeah.
right? There
Yeah.
was no way they could fail me, but they
Yeah.
could be ass wipes because they were trying to get at my
Mm.
dissertation director, right?
Mm. Mm.
Because to get at her would be to
Mm.
discombobulate me, would be, you know, and
Yeah.
it's sad, but this shit happens, right? And
Yeah.
so as women, this is just like an aspect of owning your voice.
Yeah.
It's so important to know that we own our voice. We
Yeah.
own our voice, and to use our voice and not let somebody script bullshit on us. Okay, I'm going to give a
Mm.
quick example, and we're going to have to wrap. We could talk for hours.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God,
have
man.
one more story to
We
share.
could talk for an hour.
Oh.
We're gonna have you back. But you know what? I went to a networking event yesterday. All right. And I arrived late because I had a client, right? I was helping a client. I arrived late. And so this is twice because I have a client right before this event that is once a month. And well, I'm going to work with my client before I go to the event. And I walk in, and last month she said, oh, and for the latecomers, there were evidently three of us who were late. And I said, yes, I was late because guess what? I was helping a woman hit six figures in her business. So her family is forever changed and her
Beautiful.
life, you know, and
Mm.
everybody was like, woo. And she
Yeah.
did the same thing yesterday. And Bea, part of me would be, you know, in the past, like long time ago, would have been like, oh, I feel so shamed. Instead, I said, yes. And I'm here because I just helped somebody create an extra income stream of
Beautiful.
$250,000
Mm.
into their
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
But we've got to own our voice, and we
Yeah.
can't just be silent and
Yeah.
stand by while
Mm.
things are done, while things are said that are shaming or belittling or making us small or making
Yeah.
anyone else small.
Yeah, and I can. Oh my God! It's really honestly, my heart goes like really big. I can my chest. I feel my chest like woo woo. Hey, more space for the heart because you shared so many deep stuff here, and I mean I know you, but I didn't know all these stories and layers of your life and work. So thank you so much, and it really moves me because I think you're very, let's say, your issue or the where you were like hurt, it's completely hearable and touchable and tangible almost in the space, and I
Mhm.
got more now why you became a rebel and badass this
Yeah.
that. And it's you are so right, and you are, as one of my favorite therapists used to say, you are not an idiot. You have your own story. The
Yeah.
reason you wow, 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 you say that wow, wow, and I love that, and I just want to honor you and upright you like 10x your wow, wow, wow. And I also, because it's, I think it's honestly it's beautiful, and there were not one woman who after the auditive soul hunting, like making this wow roaring, and then all the other voices doesn't become shiny and resonant and more alive.
Yes.
So it's a very healthy thing. And what I also want to add is that many of my clients are rebel like you, like what, and wants to, many times it's connected to men, like in my
Yes.
of course, in my destiny,
Yeah.
I have a long path with how to talk to men and how to make music with men and how to
Yeah.
become the first female singer-songwriter in Hungary with my 48, 47 young age. So I also hear the next level in that integration when you don't feel the
Yes.
need of wow, wow, wow. You remember of Meryl Streep in the Devil Wears Prada,
Oh, yes.
how she made authority with like, that's
Yeah.
all,
Oh, yeah.
she was talking like very soft to Anne
Hmm.
Hathaway, and she was like, that's all. And I was amazed. Of course, I mean, she's wow, but it's so good when you own your voice that well that I can wow, wow, wow when I want, because people will tell anything anyway, tell
Yeah.
you, judge you
Oh,
of
yeah.
being late, being early, having a client, not having a client,
Yes.
being big, being small. It's the world. And what you are doing is that you become like in your body, in your own
Oh,
truth, as
yeah.
Taylor
I'm just in
Six
my
says.
joy.
And think a bit. If I want to wow, wow, I do that. But if I want to, yeah, but I'm here. See, you can always say that, or like,
And and then it becomes an advantage, right? It becomes an advantage because
yeah,
you know that the other women were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry,"
yeah,
and then I come in and here's what I just
yeah,
created. Of course,
yeah.
that's why I'm late. So I want to say, Bea, this has been so amazing. We really must wrap, but gosh,
We
you've
can
given
go
us
on.
so much to think about, and really those of you listening, I hope that you've seen the mastery that Bea has in this and how she can help you use your voice so that in
Mm,
business people will listen to you. And the currency of business, you've heard me say this again, those of you who watch every week, the currency of business is attention. And your
mm,
voice is the way you're going to get attention,
mm.
right?
Beautiful.
Your voice is that, and how you're dressed. But when you're on Zoom, people can't really see that much of how we're dressed, so it's your voice and your presence. And your
Yeah.
voice is like, folks say that your eyes are the windows of the soul. Well, if that's true, your voice is like the frequency of power of your soul.
And in the age of audio podcasts, don't forget that also is like, many
Yes.
times you don't watch content in video, you hear the voice. So it's like, I tend to listen a lot of voices and audiobooks, and many times the audiobooks decided on the voice, on the reader's voice. So yes, it's very well put and beautifully wrapped up and beautifully
So
sound out.
Bea, so everybody remember, please go subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss a single episode of Bold Badass Business Owners. You always are going to get interesting content and amazing guests when you come on here. So do that. And you can also grab my complimentary ebook at spirited-solutions.com. And Bea, I want to ask you really quickly, what would you like to give folks? Do you have something special they can get off your website that you could give us?
Yes, I have all kinds of beautiful songs and access and voice exercise. So there is one
Beautiful.
little sequence when you just come and the power of the long notes. So it's like there's this song. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child, and you just come with the long notes, and nothing else. Just you're gonna sing immediately. And so I have this little sequence connect speaking to singing, so I'm gonna give that to you. And you can also come to me, and we put all the I guess we put all the links under the video, so you can check my website palyabel.hu, and my course Unleashing Your Authentic Feminine Voice runs regularly 3 times a year, next in February 2024.
I love it. Next time for the Unleashing Your Voice is in February
Yeah,
2024. All right. And it goes periodically. So everyone,
goes,
it's
yes,
something that's going to go periodically. Bea,
yes,
let me ask you quickly. Let's get your website again, right? It is Bea Palya, right?
well, it's
BEA.
Palya
or what?
Bea, it's the other way around. Sorry, because in Hungarian we put first
The
the
last name.
feminine name. So
Okay.
palyabea.hu, Hungary,
All
but
right.
it's all
Let's spell out Palya Bea.
Palya Bea,
Palya. Y'all, it's right here. You can
YABEA
see BEA
dot
dot
HU.
HU for Hungary.
Yes,
And I forgot to tell you, I'm glad you told him you're from Hungary. I forgot to say
I
that
told
before
you.
because
No,
I was
no, don't
all in
worry.
like you've been
But
everywhere. You're a globe trotter.
yeah,
So, Bea,
yeah.
I love what you've shared today. This is so powerful. And it's such an unusual, in a great way, I mean,
Mhm.
unusual take on
Mhm.
the voice because you hear
Yes.
people taking these classes on like, shit, how to become a professional speaker. And oh, they're so dreadful. And they're like, you need to pause here. No, it needs to be embodied so it sounds powerful. And what I hear from all the things you've shared, the theory behind it, and also the actual exercises, you shared a few of them with us, which was so generous. I hear that when they take your class, they're going to embody
Oh
their
yeah,
soul and their
yeah,
voice at a level that never has happened before. And
yeah.
that is going to draw to you all of you watching, tons of business. So, you all, if you haven't already, put some ahas that you've had today. Give us some hearts, right? We love hearts. We want hearts.
Yes.
You're fabulous. Thank you again, Bea. And those of you watching, remember that you are a bold, badass business owner, or you
Mm.
wouldn't be here watching this show. See you next
Beautiful.
week.
Thank you so much. Bye.